the home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is WHLM AM, W282CO Bloomsburg, W234BH West Hazelton, W242CY Berwick, and W288CF Danville. Pop Radio, a Seven Mountains Media radio station. Just 1 hour before kickoff, it's time for the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio. A conversation with Berwick Bulldogs head coach Mike Bennett and the voice of the Dogs, Jim Doyle. Brought to you by First Columbia Bank and Trust. With you every step of the way. Welsh's Towing and Repair, towing, recovery, and lockout services. Axis Gymnastics Academy in Bloomsburg. Independence Ford, Rattle Levin in Bloomsburg. S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling, the way the earth intended. First Keystone Community Bank. Yesterday's traditions, tomorrow's visions. Mason's Monogram Service for all your Bulldog merchandise. Robert G. Dent Heating and Air Conditioning in Light Street. Red's Roofing, the Roofing Ninjas in Berwick. Lehigh Valley Health Network, the region's leader in orthopedic and sports medicine. The Mayo Funeral Homes of Berwick and Chickshinny. And by Wagner's Trophies and Engravables. Main Street in Bloomsburg.
Well, the 2022 regular season is history. The postseason kicks off tonight. Here at Crispin Field, the Bulldogs play North Pocono in the District 2 4A quarterfinal. The teams have identical records, but Berwick finished fourth in the power rankings, and the Trojans finished fifth in the district, thus the home field tonight for the Dogs. Bulldogs finished the regular season with a 20-0 loss to Hazelton area last Friday at Harmon Guys Stadium. But Mike, obviously, majority of your problems were on offense, and what were they? How would you sum them up?
Like I said, there's domino effects to what happened on Friday against Hazelton. Our offensive line, we didn't gel that great during that game. We let at key spots. We were letting guys through. We weren't picking up blitzers where we could do, and that in fact goes back, turns back to Matt. Then so Matt has to scramble or he can't step up to make it pass, and we can't get the ball down the field. So like every game, you hear me talk about, it starts with the line up front, and we just didn't have a very good game altogether. Even
though you didn't end up with a lot of total yards, you had some good drives. The first possession, you at one point had a first down at the Hazelton area 14. The first possession to start the second half, you had a first down at the Hazelton area 18. If you finish those drives, the game has a whole different look to it. Yeah. I mean, most definitely. We had opportunities. That's I preach to these kids all the time. Take the opportunities that we can take. And we had opportunities there, and then we would have a holding penalty, okay, or we'd have an offside. So everything, was on us. Okay, when we got down there. So there was plays out there to be made, but, whether, we had a holding penalty or an offside, or we didn't pick up a blitzer, or we missed a key read, okay, on a passing down, and that's what I think it came down to. So these things you're talking about sound like correctable things, even though we're this late in the season?
Yes, definitely correctable. And that's why I love the opportunity for these kids to have this game. Okay, it's another opportunity for these kids, to go out there and practice for another week. Okay, to go out there and get ready for another opponent, a different opponent this time. And everything's correctable. And the more practice these guys can get, the better.
It's funny you should mention that because I've heard so many times college football coaches talk about bowl games. What's the point of a bowl game if it's not a national championship game? Well, it is the practice time. It is players playing beyond the regular season and playing in high pressure games. You, for instance, have two ninth graders starting the offensive line. This is invaluable for them.
Yes, it is. When you touched on the college, bowl games, I fortunately played in 5 bowl games, and so I had a whole month of December for bowl practice. Okay, and that's when everybody got in there and everybody started practicing and went back over, okay, there are things that they had to do, their position, their unit group and all those things. So all that time, we would have like 20 practices before we go out for a bowl week, for a bowl practice. So all that is invaluable time. And you have we have 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and 2 juniors on the offensive line. This is just going to help them going into next season, okay, with this extra practice time.
Well, up next, Mike will evaluate his team's defensive effort against Hazelton area. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Has a sports injury got you down? No one knows sports medicine like Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Their unrivaled sports team has the highest orthopedic success rates in the region. With more than 30 years of experience, they put athletes first and provide same-day appointments. Don't let a sports injury slow you down. Learn more at lvhn.org/ortho or call 833-LV-ORTHO.
Hi, this is Cassidy from the Independence Ford Service Department, Route 11 in Bloomsburg. Does your Ford or Lincoln vehicle need service? Having trouble getting an appointment at your usual service center? At Independence Ford, we can and will take care of all your service needs. Regardless of where you purchase your Ford or Lincoln vehicle, our goal is to get you back on the road. Give me a call for an appointment today at 784-1414.
Come and get a great deal and total satisfaction.
Independence Ford, better people, better prices.
Simply Safe was named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News & World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for faster police response. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to get 40% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time, which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
You are listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
8 teams qualified for the District 2 4A playoffs, which kick off tonight. Valley View, the defending district champion, is seeded second. Crestwood is the top seed. Here at Crispin Field, the 4th-seeded Bulldogs take on the 5th-seeded Trojans of North Pocono. Mike, getting back to last Friday night, I thought your defense played pretty well, considering the fact that Hazelton area is a strong offensive team. They were averaging 35 points a game coming in. You held them to 20, and one of their touchdowns came after a very short punt, gave them the ball at your 20. How would you evaluate your team's overall defensive effort against Hazelton?
It was outstanding. It was great. I was so proud of our kids. You know, they came through. Okay, they did what they had to do. Okay, for us to win the game. All right, you know, it's tremendous effort on their part. You know, they were seeing plays, they were hitting holes, they were hitting windows. Okay, they're getting off blocks, they're making tackles. It was a great, you know, it was a great game for them to come back to and have, you know, before the playoff game.
Who are some of the people who played well for you?
I think it starts with, you know, our middle linebacker Tristan English. Okay, and I love Tristan to death. You know, he makes reads out there. Okay, he gets our guys in their correct position. He was hitting holes. You know, he was you know, he's just making plays out there. He's a playmaker. You know, along with Spencer Kishball. Okay, our Sam linebacker, along with Braylon Hawkins. Okay, number 16. Okay, Braylon Hawkins came back. You know, he was off these last couple games. Okay, but he came back, and I thought he had a pretty good game. You know, I think our DBs. You know, they played above average, all right, what they have been playing these past 3-4 games. You know, I think our corners play well. I think our safeties play well. So, overall, you know, I think as a whole, our guys played well on defense, and I'm glad to say it.
I think you'll agree, for most of the season, your special teams have been pretty good. I thought they failed you on Friday night. Bad punts, not good returns. It's a third of the game, and, boy, it's an important part of it.
Ain't it, Jim? I mean, it really is. I mean, you go out there and you look at that hidden yardage in a game, and you always point to special teams. You always point to, you know, kickoff, okay, or kickoff return. You always point to punt or punt return. Like, if we don't field punts, okay, we can't get a punt, you know, more than 20 yards. That really plays into the opponent's hands, and we just didn't get it done on Friday.
The days of the George Curry 4-hour practices are gone, so your time is kind of limited, and so much of it is spent, I know, on offense and defense. How much time do you get to spend on special teams in a given practice? Yeah, I mean, a given practice, we're looking about, you know, 30 minutes total for what we have to do special teams wise. And you're right. I mean, you know, the days of, even when I went through it, the 4 and 4.5 hour practices, because you can get done what you need to get done and not have the kids here the whole time. Okay, but we just have to be, you know, we have to be better at practice of what we do.
okay, maybe a little bit more individual time, okay, working on the things that we have to work on.
Tonight's playoff opponent, North Pocono. Later in the show, Mike will tell us about the Trojans. But up next is the Bulldog Spotlight feature. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
More people in our area are choosing First Columbia Bank and Trust for their home mortgages. Is it time you discover why? First Columbia Bank offers competitive rates along with local expertise, local decisions, and local loan servicing. Let's see what First Columbia can do for you. Call today to get pre-qualified for a home loan from the #1 mortgage lender in our area. Find out more or apply for your mortgage online at firstcolumbiabank.com. First Columbia Bank, with you every step of the way. Equal housing lender.
First Columbia Bank.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with pre-arranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding. Specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
Give your child the opportunity to build strong relationships with peers and teachers in a fun, nurturing environment with the Danville Head Start program. Head Start is a free program for children 3 to 4 years old. Bus transportation is provided along with free nutritious breakfast and lunch. As part of the Danville School District, Danville Head Start provides individualized learning in a warm, supportive classroom. Enrollments are now being accepted for this Monday through Friday high-quality preschool program. For more information, visit DanvilleHeadStart.com.
You are listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Tonight marks the 12th meeting between Berwick and North Pocono. 6 of the games have been in the postseason, including tonight's, which is a District 2 4A quarterfinal. In our next segment, Mike will evaluate the North Pocono offense. But now it's time for our weekly feature, Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight, the spotlight is on sophomore 2A lineman Chase Shuckers. Chase is a 6-foot, 245-pound sophomore who's the starting right tackle on offense and is seeing a lot of action at defensive tackle as well. Mike, let's start with offense. What are Chase's strengths on that side of the ball?
Strong. Okay, Chase is a strong kid. Okay, he played a lot for us last year. Okay, as a freshman. Okay, and then coming back, Chase is, he's gotten very, very strong. Okay, during the offseason, it's great to see. Okay, so Chase, he has a ton of upper body strength. Okay, and he can move people where he has to be moved. Okay, we have to work on it. Him being young, we have to work on his footwork a little bit more, his technique a little bit more in the offseason right now. But just as a strong tackle, that's what he gives us.
Defensively, what does he bring to the table?
Okay, same thing. I mean, he has a high motor. Okay, whether we have him, at defensive tackle, sometimes we have him at defensive end. Okay, he gives us everything he has. He gets off on the ball. He uses his hands. Okay, he's getting past. He's trying to, make it crease through double teams. So, anything that we ask Chase to do, he has done. But, it's great to see a sophomore, okay, going out there and doing those things and knowing that, we got him for 2 more years.
It sounds like on a day-to-day basis, what you're getting from Chase Shuckers.
Yes, you're exactly right. You don't have to guess, okay, what Chase is going to bring to the table. He's going to come, he's going to practice hard. He's going to give you everything that he got, and that's great for a team.
Well, we talked about the offensive line earlier. It's not bad right now. It could be very good next year, couldn't it?
Well, yes, it could. I mean, anything like we talked about before, anything that we can get right now, okay, any time, practice time, game time, is going to be great for offensive line. And this is how this team gets built, through the offensive line, and that's what we're trying to do, through these games, through practices, and through preseason. So anything else that we can get from these guys is outstanding.
In the Bulldog Spotlight tonight, sophomore linebacker Chase Shuckers. Tonight, Chase and his Bulldog teammates take on North Pocono in a District 2 4A quarterfinal. Up next, Mike will tell us about the Trojans' offense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Who's ready for some chocolate and wine at Pop Radio's Chocolate and Wine Festival on November 6th at the Pine Barn Inn in Danville? You might want to consider the Wise Markets VIP experience. It includes early admission, so you can have your pick of the yummy chocolates and wine. Your own private room to chill. Wise Market snacks and wine tastings with Laura Good. The Wise Markets VIP experience. Tickets available now at thisispopradio.com.
Simply Safe was named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for faster police response. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to get 40% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time, which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
They say if you repeat something 3 times, you'll remember it. So repeat this with me. Easy Pass, Easy Pass, Easy Pass. Nice. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why am I saying this? It's because you can't forget that Easy Pass can save drivers nearly 60% on PA Turnpike tolls. And take it from me, a PA Road Pro, that's a lot of savings. 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 Find your local retailer at paturnpike.com.
Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
You are listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Crispin Field, home to Berwick football since 1929, is the venue for tonight's District 2 4A quarterfinal as the Bulldogs take on the Trojans of North Pocono. Mike, North Pocono likes to run the football, especially with senior Michael Blaine, who has rushed for over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. Describe him.
I tell you what, we can't catch a break with these running backs. I mean, we're playing some pretty good running backs. You know, just like the running backs we played before him, you know, Buckman, Balesta, Stauffer, you know, all these kids, we can just name, keep on naming now. He's a hard runner. Okay, he's a hard runner. He sees a hole. He hits it hard. He's a quick kid, and he's a very tough kid too. So he's gonna be hard to bring down.
Yeah, talking to their coach Greg Dolan about him, he says he's got the physicality. Yeah. I mean, he goes after contact, but once he breaks free, he also has good speed.
Yeah, I mean that's a dangerous combination right there. You look for contact. I mean, you try and check your running backs out too when you're evaluating people. You want to see if they're running into contact, if they want the contact, and how they escape. And he's one of the best that we're going to play this year.
What specific instructions have you given your defense concerning defending Michael Blaine?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to get around him, and we're going to have to team tackle, okay? We can't let anybody on an island. We have to hit the hole, okay? We have to play our gaps, and we have to make sure that we surround him and bring him down, because he's not going to go down just by one person.
How would you characterize the North Pocono offense? What looks do they give you?
All right, they're going to get – I tell you what, Jim, a lot of things they run are the things that we run too. They like to run off tackle. They like to do pin and pull, schemes. They like to run ISO plays. They like to run counter plays. I would probably say they more or less, relate to us and Dallas, in a running game a bit. So, I mean, what you see is what you get. They're a North Pocono team, so they're going to be a physical team. They're going to be a downhill running team, and they're going to come after you.
Quarterback Noah West has not had a good season statistically. He's got 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's completing 41% of his passes. But you look at their offense and the other stats, he does have some weapons in addition to Michael Blaine. You got a big tight end in Ty LaFave. You got a wide receiver in Riley Moore, who's averaging over 24 yards a catch. So your defense has to concentrate on Michael Blaine, first of all, but you can't ignore the pass game.
No, we can't. And so if we think about this, Jim, we have the same, conversation about Crestwood, okay, and what they brought to the table. And we don't want to, focus on Schultz. We needed to focus on the whole thing. And guess what? The quarterback came out and ran for 100 yards. So this is kind of the same thing, Jim, and we have to make sure that we stop number 2, Blaine, okay? But once we get him stopped, we have to make sure that we know, Moore, number 11, okay, Lefebvre, number 44, Wester, quarterback. We got to get them guys hemmed in so they can't make a 3rd and 10 and put them back in the ballgame.
How is North Pocono up front, and how confident are you that your defensive line can win that matchup?
I mean, I look at, obviously, you look at the line as soon as you get the tape on, you're trying to find, tendencies, weaknesses, strengths, and stuff like that. I think this team gets after you. Okay, they really do. They're a physical bunch. Again, I equate these guys to Dallas a little bit. They don't have the size up front that a Dallas team have. Okay, but they do have some nasty to them. All right, but I feel, looking at the tape, and so do the coaches, that we can assert our dominance over them on the defensive line and on the offensive line. It's going to be a thing as a want to. Do we want to go out there and do it? And I think our kids do.
Up next, Michael, tell us about the North Pocono defense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
What time do the kids arrive, sis?
Anytime now.
Is it wise to have a bunch of kids gathering indoors at this time of the year?
I know what you're thinking, but COVID-19 vaccines and boosters are available for all kids now. And all the moms have had their kids vaccinated. You ought to think about getting your new COVID variant booster, too.
If it gets me out of the house for this thing, for sure.
Help keep Central PA safe this autumn. Visit vaccines.gov. Brought to you by PA Unites Against COVID and the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit.
Neighbor Fence Company has fencing for where you want it, serving Columbia, Montour, and Luzerne counties. Neighbor Fence provides top-quality residential and commercial fencing, vinyl, chain link, wood, aluminum, and ornamental fencing, plus vinyl railing and specialty products. Neighbor Fence Company, 1140 State Route 239 in Wapwallopen. Call 570-752-4423 or visit them online at neighborfencecompany.com. Neighbor Fence Company is a proud sponsor of local youth athletic teams. When you're planning your next big event, weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites, remember Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. Have no power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. Preferred Portables can provide sanitary service to campgrounds, carnivals, parks, parties, and even has an emergency service 24 hours a day. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Email preferredportables@gmail.com. Go Berwick Bulldogs! Yannick Real Estate is your full-service real estate agency. Buying, selling, residential, commercial, multifamily, land, and rental management. Call Yannick Real Estate. Owner Mike Yannick, a veteran himself, served his country and has been serving this area for decades. Mike and his staff will guide you through the real estate process. Veterans, be sure to check the VA loan options. Yannick Real Estate, your full-service real estate agency. 1232 West Front Street in Berwick. Call 759-3300.
You are listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Berwick takes on North Pocono here at Crispin Field in the District 2 4A quarterfinal tonight. It's the first meeting of these teams since 2017. Mike, North Pocono head coach Greg Dolan lists his team's base defense as a 4-3. From what you've seen, do they stay in that?
Well, the last couple of weeks, no. The last couple of weeks, they have been playing, a 3-4 defense. Now, we have some tape on them that they have the 4-3 in, okay? So we would definitely be ready for both of these things, okay? For both of these defense. But, I know they, in the beginning, based at a 4-3, but I think out of injuries that they had the last two games, they went to a little bit of a 3-4, okay, a little cover 3 in the back.
How aggressive are they?
Okay, they're aggressive. Okay, they're aggressive. I mean, the kids that they have, I love. Okay, they're both their quarterback West and their running back Blaine. They're the two safeties. Okay, so they got a corner, Raleigh Moore, the ones that's averaging over 20 yards a catch. He's one of their corners. Okay, along with Thomas, number 3. Okay, but up front, they're going to come after you. No, even though they show you a 3-4. Okay, they show you with their outside backers or ends, split out a little bit. They're going to come after you. So we're going to have to make sure that we run the ball, okay, make a concerted effort to run the ball and base everything off that.
When I asked Coach Dolan about his best defenders, the first person he mentioned was their middle linebacker, number 44, Ty Lefebvre, 6'1", 225. He's a senior. How does he look to you?
He looks like Coach Dolan explains him. Okay, yeah, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty big. I know he plays tight end on offense, but on defense, the last couple games, he's been one of their outside backers. But again, I feel that was, probably because of injuries. So maybe they're getting some kids back over there. All right, so he might move back into the middle. But I tell you what, he's a stout kid, 6'1", 225. Okay, that's nothing to sneeze at. Okay, the guy hits you like a train. All right, so he's going to be ready to go.
Your team coming off a game in which they struggled offensively, obviously getting shut out last Friday at Hazleton. What do you want to see from them tonight you didn't see last Friday?
I mean, I'll tell you what, no one's as frustrated as I am right now, getting shut out, okay? But, we need to come together on that offensive line. That's our center, 2 guards, 2 tackles, and our tight end. We have to establish the line of scrimmage, which I know we can. Okay, I know we can. I know we're young. I know we're going through, a couple things here. But these kids can do it, and they have to have the confidence, and we have to instill the confidence in our kids that they can do it. And I think we'll be okay. All right. So it's gonna come down to, all right, what offensive line we see. The offensive line that we saw against Dallas. Okay, where they were ready to play and they came off the ball and they were hitting people and having some fun, or the offensive line that we saw the last couple of games where maybe they were unsure of themselves, they're not coming off the ball fast. Okay, not being aggressive.
Your team played a very, very challenging regular season. Now, in my opinion, one of the best that the Berwick has faced in recent memory. But I'm sure you're not happy with a 4-6 record. How do you approach the postseason?
No, and you're right. I mean, obviously, 4-6. We're frustrated. We don't. This is something that we don't expect here in Berg. But the schedule is the schedule. Okay, the schedule comes out. We play who's on the schedule. But obviously, we had plenty of opportunities to play a lot of good teams, which is only going to help us down the road. So, just like any playoff, any playoff season, you have your first 10 games, they're gone now. Okay, your scrimmage is gone. 10 games are gone. Now this is a new season. So you come to it like it's a new season. Everyone's 0-0. Everyone's ready to go. I know you get that at the end of the year. Maybe some kids are ready to move on to the next season. But most of our kids, okay, and I could say it right now, all our kids, want to keep going. All right, they want to, all right, get better and keep going, which we haven't seen here, in the last couple of years. So, we're going to keep the pedal to the metal. Okay, the coaches are going to coach, and these guys and our guys are going to continue to play hard, learn, and get better.
It's an exciting time of year. Mike, again, thanks for your time, and let's hope we're talking here next week as well.
You got it, Tim. You got it. Thank you.
Hopefully there will be another edition of the Coach Bennett Show next Friday. If so, it would be a District 2 4A semifinal. Stay tuned now for a District quarterfinal, North Pocono at Berwick on Pop Radio.
You've been listening to Berwick Bulldog Football on Pop Radio. Brought to you by First Columbia Bank and Trust. With you every step of the way. Welsh's Towing and Repair, towing, recovery, and lockout services. Axis Gymnastics Academy in Bloomsburg. Independence Ford, Rattle 11 in Bloomsburg. S.J. Kowalski Heating and Cooling, the way the earth intended. First Keystone Community Bank. Yesterday's traditions, tomorrow's visions. Mason's Monogram Service for all your Bulldog merchandise. Robert G. Dent Heating and Air Conditioning in Light Street. Red's Roofing, the Roofing Ninjas in Berwick. Lehigh Valley Health Network, the region's leader in orthopedic and sports medicine. The Mayo Funeral Homes in Berwick and Chickshinny. And by Wagner's Trophies and Engravables. Main Street in Bloomsburg.